You know that feeling when you see a problem and think, someone should really do something about that? Or when you hear about a cause and just feel this pull to get involved? We usually think of that as a totally personal decision. But what if it's not? What if the world itself is constantly, well, inviting you to act? Today we're diving into a really powerful framework that explains just that. It's about how the world around us is just full of opportunities to create, to join, and to be inspired.
All right, so here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll start with a really simple, everyday idea about how our environment literally suggests things for us to do. Then, we'll introduce the big idea for today, projectivity. After that, we'll look at the 3 different lives of a project, see where these ideas even came from, and finally, we'll wrap it all up by making it personal, asking what this means for you and the projects you're part of.
So let's kick things off with that foundational idea. How exactly does the world around us nudge us or even shout at us to do things?
Seriously, just for a second, look around you, wherever you are. The world is constantly offering you possibilities. A coffee mug offers you a place to put your drink, a keyboard offers you the chance to type. But what's the actual term for this kind of offering?
Well, there is a word for it. It's called affordance. This idea comes from a psychologist named James J. Gibson, and it's brilliant in its simplicity. The world isn't just a bunch of static objects. It's filled with possibilities for action. A chair affords sitting. A rock practically begs to be thrown. The environment itself is presenting you with opportunities to act.
Okay, that's cool for physical objects, but here's where it gets really interesting. What if we could take that same exact logic, the world offering possibilities, and apply it to the social world, to the world of teamwork, collaboration, and big projects?
This right here, this is the whole shebang. It's a direct parallel. If a physical environment gives us affordances for simple actions, then a social environment gives us opportunities for projects. And that powerful social invitation, that's what we're calling projectivity.
So just think of projectivity as the social version of affordance. It's the whole landscape of potential projects that's all around you all the time. It's seeing that rundown park and feeling the pull to start a community cleanup. It's hearing about a fundraiser and feeling the opportunity to join in. It's even seeing a successful company and getting that spark of an idea to launch your own.
So how does this actually play out in the real world? Well, projectivity isn't just one single thing. It actually shows up in 3 really distinct ways. You can almost think of them as the 3 lives of any project: how it's born, how it grows, and the legacy it leaves behind.
And these 3 stages really build on one another. We start with primary productivity, that's the birth. That then leads to secondary, which is the growth phase, where other people get involved. And finally, you have tertiary productivity, which is all about the project's legacy, the new things it inspires down the line.
Okay, so first up, primary projectivity. This is the moment a project is born. It's when someone sees something happening out in the world, a social event, you could call it. Maybe it's a problem in their neighborhood, or a new technology emerges. And based on seeing that event, they decide, okay, I'm going to start something new. They literally find a project that needs to be done. Next up is secondary projectivity. This is when a project is already up and running. It exists. It has an identity, a clear mission, a set of goals, a certain reputation. And it's that identity that acts like a magnet, attracting other people and affording them the chance to join in and become a part of it. And last but not least, we have tertiary projectivity. This is the legacy. This is what happens when someone who's already inside a project gets so inspired by its core themes, its big ideas, its way of doing things, that they go off and start their own brand new project. It's like a project having a baby.
So the key thing to get here is that for each type of projectivity, we have to notice something different about the world. To start a project from scratch, you have to perceive a social event that needs a response. To join a project, you have to recognize its identity and what it's all about. And to be inspired to start something new, you have to really grasp its underlying themes.
You know what? Let's make this even simpler. Let's just visualize it. Picture someone standing on the outside of a project that's already happening. Right now, they're just an observer. They're not involved yet.
From that outside perspective, they start to perceive the project's identity. That's the sense maker for the stage, remember? They see what it's trying to do, what it stands for, what its purpose is. This is that secondary productivity kicking in.
And based on that perception, that feeling, they decide to act. They join. And that action physically and psychologically moves them from the outside to the inside of the project space. They've just become a participant. It's a really simple but powerful way to think about it.
Now, you might be thinking this is a pretty neat framework, but where did it come from? Well, it didn't just pop out of thin air. It's actually built on the shoulders of some real giants in psychology.
For decades, there's been this ecological movement in psychology, basically a big push to look beyond what's just inside a person's head and to study people within their environments. It's a whole tradition, from Kurt Lewin's work in the 40s all the way to the rise of cultural psychology in the 80s. Projectivity is really just the next chapter in that story.
And there are three thinkers who are super important here. You've got Kurt Lewin and Lev Vygotsky, who both gave us this concept of a zone, a sort of psychological space where action happens. And of course, you've got James J. Gibson, who gave us the word affordance, the direct spark for this whole projectivity framework.
Okay, so that's a lot of theory. What does it all mean for you right here, right now?
Let's bring this whole thing home with one last powerful idea that puts you right in the center of the action.
And that idea is the zone of project. It's not a physical place. It's the interactive space between people who are working together. It's the bubble where ideas are shared, where the real work gets done, where the collaboration actually comes to life. You could call it the engine room of any project.
And that really brings us to the final thought I want to leave you with. Think about your life, your job, your family, your community groups. You're a part of projects everywhere. So take a second and ask yourself, what zone of project are you in right now? And now that you know about productivity, what new opportunities to start, to join, or to inspire are you going to see in the world around you?